Nothing that we say to each other is innocent of emotional manipulation. Everything that we do on stage is to affect each other in some way. And if we notice very carefully how those swine we're working with are trying to get to us and get at us, sometimes I suggest that we perform on stage as though we're a whole bunch of raving paranoids. This paranoid adjustment, yeah, nothing that I hear is going to be simple. Nothing that you say to me is going to be accepted at face value. Oh, it always means something else.
I always say he's the one teacher who really actually tangibly taught me something. You know, like there's so many teachers you have and you're like, well, they told me to read Tom Sawyer and I kind of liked it, or, you know. I mean, people do have those amazing teachers, but for me, he was definitely it.
I still think his main motivation was helping people, and you know, I think it was, who was it? It was Harold Ramis that said he wasn't just teaching us improv, he was teaching us a way of life that maybe is difficult to act out, but that generous, you know, giving and supporting your fellow players was a way, was not only just a way to behave on stage, but it was a mode of behavior in your regular life that would be something to shoot for. You know, and when you think about that, you tend to forget about all the negative things you hear about Del and say, hey, his basic motivation was wonderful.
That's, you know, that's how it affects me, and that's what's so important to me. And for that approach to the work, I mean, we say it, but we mean it. I hate when I sometimes read it in print about someone talking about the work and the art and the craft and all that stuff. It's important to us because we're doing it. Hopefully we can elevate it to its highest level, because that's what the guy was about, and I certainly appreciate that.
Del never seemed like a teacher to me. He seemed like a kind of composition in process, and he was making you part of that process. When you worked with the workshops with Del, you came in, you paid the $5, $10, whatever it was, to whoever was assistant that was taking it, and whatever was on his mind that day, that would be the subject for the improvisations. It wasn't improvisation by the numbers, it wasn't improvisation by Viola Spolin's workbook, it was improvisation via Del.
As a teacher, Del introduced me to the idea of the process being this thing that we study, and the performances we do on stage are really just another part of the process that we're all in as improvisers, trying to, as I see it, be more interesting people, better people.
I'll tell you what his influence and the experience of learning to improvise and, you know, under his tutelage did for me. I noticed immediately that it helped in scripted performance, just to have the confidence, even though it will never come up, basically, to have the confidence that moment to moment you're comfortable without a script makes you somehow more comfortable with the script. You know what I mean? You're not worried, you're not as tied to it, because what's the worst thing that could go wrong is you forget your lines, I guess. I don't think actors think that when they're performing, what if I forget a line? But if you did, you're not worried, because you're used to having something to say when you don't know what to say.